穷森。公主，也是厉害，还可拿走你什么东西？我We have to say the end. You can find that empty reviews, then you must await the monster from the pit. I think you play assistance. Right. Mount! Alright, quicker one! Fire off, let's go! Wait, sure, that's over! Sure needs to train all of them. Huh? Look out!
Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. My name is Angsty Film Reviews. I'm here to fill in for Empty Film Reviews. He's in a little pickle, currently. Just kidding, guys. It's only me. I had you fooled there, didn't I? Welcome back to Empty Film Reviews. This is one of the few properly requested episodes in the series. This was requested actually all the way back in season 1 by one of the people who egged me on to do this series in the first place, my uncle. So I will do this for you, Uncle Harold. And also because this is a pretty cool movie. I watched it again recently. Part of the reason that I just initially put it off was because I hadn't seen it in a while. I wanted to rewatch it and, conjure my thoughts properly. And I'm glad that I have. I definitely didn't want to just jump into it. Not that the film, it certainly has a reputation of being complex, and it is layered, and it's very smart in how it presents itself. I'm definitely not trying to downplay the intelligence or anything. I think it does a good job of being very confusing, particularly on a first watch, while still it gives you all the the eggshells or whatever you'd like to call it, the mystery, the clues to the mystery. It gives you all these things in a way that I think is very easy to pick up and follow. And yeah, it's certainly a 2001 movie. I love the angst of it, It just makes me laugh so much. The movie kind of always interested me as a kid because it had the angsty 2000 aesthetic. It had the scary bunny man prank, and also because of the dinner table argument scene where they're going, "Oh, you're such a fuck ass, you can suck a fuck." I thought that was peak comedy when I was 12 years old. And then I saw it when I was 16. Fucking loved it. And then throughout the years, I observed the director's cut a little bit, but then otherwise I didn't really. There's so many movies. I just have been watching so many other things, and I did really like it. It just it wasn't one that I would rewatch often, and in a lot of ways I kind of have saved it too. But here we are. I'm here to talk about it now in my prime angst form, aka a hoodie. So yeah, without further ado, Angsty Film Reviews. Let's go into the nether.
In the frame, and it's kinda lean. It's barely in my desk, not even on your phone at 4 to 3 a.m. when you're feeling close then, and it may not be great. Like you know your love is empty film reviews. Such a serious day that's rude, it's true.
So first off, let me just say this. I love James Duvall. He should be in more movies. Okay, now, second of all, no, seriously, James Duvall, I really had a come to Christ moment with him last year when I watched the Teen Apocalypse trilogy, which will also absolutely be spoken about somewhere in this series. Maybe this season, I don't know yet. There's a lot of ideas that I had for last season that I didn't have the time to get to, which is a lot of what this season is gonna be, including this episode. So, I will see. I don't even know how many episodes are gonna be in this season, quite frankly. So, yeah, no, I mean, for one, this director, I don't remember the name off the top of my head, apologies. But definitely a very, very interesting approach to filmmaking. I always respect someone who, even if they kind of fall on their face, like with something like Southland Tales, which I know some people love. I'm not saying there aren't things to love about it. For me, just from what I saw, it was doing so much. I was like, all right, okay. And The Rock and everything, and Justin Timberlake were just so silly in the movie. It was a little harder to see what that movie was even going for tonally. This one, it's certainly much clearer, but I just love the darkness of it, the blueness of it, not the sadness blue, the literal blueness of it. It has the 2001 quirky, not necessarily good by modern standard CGI, but the CGI in this film, as well as the CGI of a lot of films of this era, as well as just pretty much all the CGI in countries like Japan, there's an attempt to not, you don't have to worry about making it all look so real if it has character. The fucking air worms that go out of people's bodies, they have so much character, and it's just such a unique idea, and you feel just a strangeness whenever they're on screen. Yeah, I mean, fuck, even the Shark Boy and Lava Girl looks fucking terrible, but at least they tried to do something, So, this just reflects a time of film and a lot of culture that I love. There were certainly negative aspects of early 2000s culture, as there is in every wave generation of culture. And, some of that's even reflected in the film with the fact that everyone in the 2000s was an asshole who fucking hated each other. That's at least how a lot of media portrays people. But yeah, man, speaking of people, like that segue, Jake Gyllenhaal, man, what a star from the beginning, I must say. I want to claw my eyes out because I missed Seawall Life when it was on running in theaters in New York when I was living there before COVID hit. I was like so close to seeing that show and I missed out. I wish I could have seen Jake Gyllenhaal just monologue endlessly at the camera. Not at the camera, it's a stage show. I just watch him monologue endlessly because he is just so goddamn good at his job. And I hate that he's doing paycheck films now. I get it, but like, I wish he would start doing real projects again. Bro was just, I guess he felt sad that like no awards or anything like recognized some of his performances. He was putting out some of the best performances of, in American films, so far this millennia, throughout the 2000s into the mid-2010s, especially with Nightcrawler, and you just fucking ignore him. So, yeah, I get why one would turn cynical, but it is sad to see, definitely. And again, he hasn't even turned bad, he's just in goofy-ass movies. Like, he's the best part of the remake, the American COVID movie remake, the guilty, but the script for that movie is just so goddamn funny, and his good acting makes it even funnier because he's just so engrossed in that movie, and he's selling it, but the script is just so stupid. Like, he's selling the emotion, but the shit that he has to say is ridiculous. So it's great to see him when he was doing really interesting projects, playing very strange characters. I absolutely love it. That may be the one reason not the one reason, but the main reason for my interest in the director's cut of this film, because there is such a thing, but it does seem like it leans more into the scientific aspect more, which I think is a positive and a bit of a takeaway, because a lot of this film's charm is that it has the scientific explanations for what's happening, but it's also so clearly an allusion to mental illness that and they both stand on such even ground that it really gives you the space to kind of go back and forth and change where you stand on what's actually happening when, things like that. Whereas I feel like, explaining things away, it does kind of take that ambiguity out of the film. But more Donnie Darko is still, nice. Again, yeah, I definitely engaged with it a little bit, but I have not seen it in full. I have only seen the original theatrical, which Criterion... It would probably be both versions on the disc, I imagine, but they are, it seems like they've had interest in this film. It was on the Criterion channel, and usually when they put a film on the Criterion channel, it means they're kind of testing the waters to see how many people watch it, and then they'll, put it out physically. The one that always comes to mind that they did that for is Cure, which is somewhat tonally a similar movie, from that pocket of the edgelord 2000s era, which I fucking love. Man, this movie only would be a 10 out of 10 if these guys were in the soundtrack. I'm just saying. Fucking, there were just too many kinds of people who trying to look inside of me. Anyway, I'm just saying, someone has to make that fucking Frank the Rabbit Linkin Park AMV. When's it happening? No, yeah, so, again, I feel like this film, it does kind of answer its questions by the end, even in the regular version. I feel like by the end it's not too ambiguous, but having a director's cut that takes more time to explain things during the journey, it makes that journey less of a mystery, in my opinion. But again, I have to see this cut in full, not just some of the extra science jargon scenes. But I do think this is also a movie that does that really well. Because again, it doesn't go too far with explaining away these things, and clearly they also did research into what they could to a degree. And also just from a film perspective, the way the script wraps itself around is just it's so clever. And even though it's not, again, the hardest thing to figure out or whatever, or you're completely lost to what's happening the whole time, it still is clever with just how it reincorporates certain things throughout the movie. I've spoiled some things, I've not spoiled some other things, because I feel like there's things about this film that are kind of in the zeitgeist and well known. But at the same time, I know, there's always a new generation of people finding these films. I think it goes both ways of, the spoiler discussion of what, you had 20 years to watch this, and, of course we're going to talk about spoiler. If the thing is 50 years old or something like that, the new generation isn't as engaging with it as much, then okay, fine. But at the same time, the new generation's experiencing these films and stories in the intended way, when the mystery and, the revelations and the reveals still hit. That's how you keep these films alive across the generations. So that's just a little spoiler talk tidbit from me. Yeah, and this is gonna be another one where I'm only saying so much. I'm really, I love pushing how much I can make this not a podcast with, because now the length is shortening for some of these episodes, not for all of them. It's just this is a film that, if for one, the regular version is kind of brief too. It's like an hour and 40. It really does kind of, no fat on the bones, just all meat taking you on that journey, and I really, really love and respect it for that. And again, aesthetically, I think it's not groundbreaking aesthetically, but I do think that, I do just love the style that is there. And the film does also retain a nice heart, and even has a very bittersweet ending that is wrapped around that heart. It's not just a film that's trying to be cool and in your face and tell you, oh, look at how smart I am. It's like, no, this film is really trying to tell you a genuine story. It's and in all senses of that word, it wants to emotionally engage you, it wants to make you laugh, it's going to kind of scare you a little bit, it's going to confuse you and perplex you. It's a lot of fun. No, it really is. I am glad I've revisited this. I am a mighty fan. Okay, now I will say I did make a little joke about the soundtrack, but I have reminded myself that the soundtrack choices in the film are very cool. It's like the sort of an unpopular choice for the era. A lot of music that, to tie this even more into, like, new generations finding this film and really enjoying it. It has like a shoegazy dream pop kind of soundtrack and things like that. Of course, some like alt rock and shit like that too. But us Zoomers fucking love shoegaze. People hated it in the fucking late 80s and 90s for no goddamn reason. Everyone was still just an edgy asshole, I guess. Which I get it. I do get it. I get it. But, love the music choices, and of fucking course you have to have songs by Echo and the Bunnymen in this movie. How could you not? It's staring you right in the fucking face. And yeah, it's also not like, crazy needle drops taken away from anything. There's a couple moments where the needle drops, again, have a very 2000s vibe about them, of everyone getting out of school and like, man, life fucking sucks. But it works, it's fun. And it was 2001, it's not like they're doing that now or something like that. Honestly, I kind of wish shit had that charm and hope in it, but it doesn't. I mean, I get why, but we sure could use it a little bit. I really do love those choices in this film. I do think all the music does a good job helping to elevate the film. And I mean, it literally made arguably meme history, this movie. Not even because of any particular scene, but just using Mad World so much, that just, since the movie has been out, even in some memes, you'll still hear that song, as ancient, as crusty of a fucking meme as it is to use Mad World in something. Oh, help me off a familiar faces. It's people still fucking do it. It is a great song too. So again, I get it. It just shows more the power that this film has, and it was particularly on the music side, the fact that they were not, they weren't wasting their choices. It all mattered, and I respect that. Because so many movies, especially from the 2000s, definitely could rely on their needle drops way too much. Definitely not as much of a 2000s feeling movie, and this movie is even about music, so the fact that it wastes its needle drops to me is way more insulting, almost famous. I mean, for fuck's sake, that movie has a scene where they cue in Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix and just use it as like 10-second intermission music for when people are like getting on or off a plane. Like, why is that? What relevance did that have? Other than, like, listen to the cool guitar, and like, alright, dude, fucking whatever. Thanks for wasting that song, and not even playing it again in the movie or anything, you know, using it even to, like, foreshadow that there'll be trouble with the plot. Nah, we're just gonna fucking waste music. Fucking hack director. Anyway, yeah, so, you know, I just it has admittedly been a little bit of time since I did even my rewatch of this, because there's been other things I've had to study for this podcast. You know, so I just kind of have to let the thoughts slowly train back into me. So yeah, not just to speak on Jake, but, you know, his sister Maggie is great in this film. They obviously have instant chemistry because they're real life brother and sister, so the fights seem genuine, but also the heart between them is genuine. Oh goodness, his therapist I know is someone I actually know. Drew Barrymore, of course, in a movie where most of the cast is her age, but because she's a slightly older woman than them, she's like the mature teacher or whatever. Sure. Not that she couldn't play that character, it's just the way Hollywood fucking deals with age, it's so ridiculous. Goofy as. But of course, I would be a fool not to mention the greatest cast member in this film, Jerry Trainer. I believe that whole group of kids is like Nickelodeon, Disney kids or whatever, so I've been told. But it's Jerry that I'm there for. Yeah, and, you know, I think with that may be the end of my discussion here. I do think, again, I just want to reiterate, the ending is so brilliant, and how it wraps things up, how it gives you the answers to the mystical stuff as well as the mental stuff, not just with Donnie, but with the sort of mystical character that kind of resides within the film. Oh yeah, Seth Rogen's in this too, but who gives a fuck? Yeah, no, I love the bittersweet ending here. I just love the punch that it has. You know, really hits so hard all the way to the last few frames. Just brilliant, seriously. And I'm so sad that Southland Tales pretty much stopped this director from working forever. That is devastating, genuinely. That shouldn't happen. That's overkill, in my opinion. But the industry fucking sucks like that. So everybody, with that out of the way, with further ado, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Empty Film Reviews. Really appreciate it. Not sure what will be next week's episode. I am still in the works of the return episode. So it won't be that one. It definitely will be another non-Twin Peaks topic, most likely. I mean, maybe the first part will come out, but there are a lot of other ideas that I have had, so we will see. But also, actually, though, next week there may be another film. So, you know, usually whenever a film comes out, that postpones the next episode for another week. So maybe the next episode actually will be the return. It really just depends on how much I'm able to film around and after the upcoming short film for the Endemic series. Yeah, please go check those out if you haven't. Please check out our most recent anti-Oscars film, The Golden Goose. Check out last year's anti-Oscar film. Check out the newly restored film that we made in 2023. The proper Guapo Swan song in a lot of ways. The Holiday Hazards. At least swan song to the original era of this channel, so to speak. Just a tribute to my boys. Yeah, you know, just keep your eyes peeled for the upcoming film. There will at some point be a change in scenery yet again. It seems can't help but move within each season of this show. That's when it happened. My real life moves happen to take place. So there is that. It may delay things, but it really shouldn't. There may be another week I don't post anything, but I have really liked this space, even if I haven't, these past few episodes been talking for as long. I have just really enjoyed bringing this space back to the channel. Helps diversify Guapo as I see it to be, because, the novelty of second channels and all that has just completely died. It used to actually mean something, but a lot of people, it's only added to the charm of YouTube being killed, of like, oh, you have to have a gaming channel separate from your vlog channel, which is separate from your video essay channel. Like, shut the fuck up. First of all, channels, like on TV, what this is named after, or even a radio station, right, where you hear multiple shows. There's varying tones throughout. Why does it always have to be this fucking monotone stream of content? I think that's bullshit. And just another thing that really kind of killed the beauty that was old YouTube. So we try to keep that energy alive here. I try to live in the spirits of old YouTube, and that's part of why the quality of this podcast will always suck. Admittedly, the camera quality has gotten a little bit better, but that's only because I've been giving this guy rest. The purposeful, terrible mic, lower than 720p quality camera for my audio format podcast series, which is not on any audio format. So, enough of that, though. Thank you guys so much for joining this episode of Angsty Film Reviews. I'll see you again soon.
Such a city today that's blue.